it's lovely to share ideas with people and creatives thinking, and then have people come back to me and say, I heard what you said last year, and this is what we did. This is how we expressed ourselves, and here's the amazing thing that happened when we did it. And I don't, again, my dad was a teacher, so I come by that teaching element a bit naturally. There's no greater gift to a teacher than know that your students, whatever they may be, have actually understood the training and have applied it and feel better about themselves. They feel more relevant, they feel empowered, they feel passionate, they feel connected. And that's what being creative is all about.
Over the rainbow.
Hey, Storymakers, and welcome to another episode of Tellwell the Podcast, where we have a very special episode where we're doing previews of our favorite speakers for the upcoming WellTold, the nonprofit storytelling conference, which is happening here in Fargo and virtually April 24th. We're so stinking excited to be welcoming John Lepp from Agents of Good. John, hi, how are you?
I'm great, Max. It's very cold and stuff here in Canada, but I know it's like Fargo, so it's fine. It's really fine.
Okay, here's the wild thing, and I've seen too many memes on this. They're like, you don't really realize seasonal depression is real until it's like 35 degrees, and everybody's like, the sun! And that's where we are right now. It's like 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Are you on Celsius?
I'm both. Yes,
both.
Okay,
that's what I'm by temperature, whatever.
I didn't want to say it.
So we are so grateful for a little bit of warmth, because we were in a cold spell that was weird. It wasn't cute. So John, you are dual in the US and Canada, but can you tell us a little bit about Agents of Good, and then also just tell us a little bit about you. Why do you love nonprofits? Why are you excited about storytelling? Why are you excited to come to Fargo?
Oh wow. Okay, Agents of Good. Yeah, we've been around since 2009, and Jen Love, my business partner, and I work with charities around the world, helping them tell better stories to inspire other donors to give more. So Jen and I are both creatives. We're also very strategic, of course, in our work. And Jen and I also, we grew up on direct mail. So like our early days, we learned a lot about direct mail, which isn't quite as understood now as it used to be. We've got things like AI and digital, and these are important channels and technologies to use in our work, and we do. But I still like talking about direct mail too, because it is actually very, very relevant in the context of donors and their giving. So yeah, I've got a pretty cool job. I have to say, I'm very lucky. I go to sleep at night knowing I'm actually literally changing the world, and God knows we kind of need as much help as we can get these days. So,
Yeah, we absolutely do. So John, how did you get involved with nonprofits to start with?
Well, I was working, I went to school for writing, for journalism. I learned design there. I actually moved into working with advertising agencies. And then my partner at the time, she was working at a firm that did direct response fundraising in Canada and Toronto. So I got hired there to work in-house with all the account teams. And in the 5 years, got to work with pretty much any charity you could think of. I got to work with them, like Amnesty, Cancer Societies, like all the UNICEFs, all the really big ones. Yeah, I kind of cut my teeth there, and that's where I met Jen as well. She also worked there for a number of years, as did her dad. So Jen's a second generation fundraiser. So yeah, it's been a 25-year pretty cool journey, I have to say.
That's awesome. I have a special place in my heart for writers, because I want to be a writer. I'm not a writer. I want to be a writer someday. And I do think that like writing is an undersold foundational element for all like fundraising, but also just like all storytelling. Like even if you're talking about video, if you're talking about visuals, if you're talking about any of those things, great writing is the foundation for all of it.
And very important. And the biggest thing is making it as conversational as possible, so like I'm a writer and a designer, which is helpful for me when I do design and when I do writing, but it's taken years to develop my voice and be comfortable with who I am and the way I speak and I express things. But the biggest thing charities are missing out is trying to figure out what is our voice collectively but individually, because your voice is different than my voice, even if you and I work for the same organization. So there's a lot of, and I talk about this in my session, is this idea of being creative is a scary proposition, right? And when you're a writer, when you're a designer, when you're expressing yourself in any form or function, it is terrifying because you're being a bit vulnerable. Like you're putting something out there that you've created and you've designed or whatever, and someone's going to come along and judge you for it. And so I want to spend some time talking about the importance of being creative, of expressing yourself in your craft. We need more people expressing themselves. The world needs art now more than ever, as far as I'm concerned.
So true. So wildly true, right? And I would imagine you guys are experiencing that a little bit on the northern side of the border as well. But you guys get a little bit of the fallout of whatever's happening down here. John, I'm wondering, can you give us just even a tish more background on like you as a speaker? Because I actually found you through the Nonprofit Storytelling Conference, which is a national conference which draws thousands of people every single year to like really cool locations. I actually haven't gotten a chance to go, but we sent our writing team, I think it was 2 years ago, and you were like their favorite speaker. And so I'm curious, how, like, tell me more.
Oh God, I didn't want to do speaking for a long time, and I or my friend Shan Doolittle really begged me to come to storytelling, and so Jen and I went to storytelling. I think it was like their second year they did it, and that was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years ago. Terrifying, horrible. The video still exists, and it's awful. But you have to go through it, right? And so since then, yes, I've spoken at many AFP chapters, as well as internationally. I've spoken in Norway, Amsterdam. I've been kind of all over the place, and it's been as a professional, I've checked those boxes. I've really spoken on all the stages I'd ever want to speak on, except for yours, of course. So I'm really happy I can check this last speaking box. It's really important to me to do this. But yeah, it's a nice gig, and it's lovely to share ideas with people and creatives thinking, and then have people come back to me and say, I heard what you said last year, and this is what we did. This is how we expressed ourselves, and here's the amazing thing that happened when we did it. And I don't, again, my dad was a teacher, so I come by that teaching element a bit naturally. There's no greater gift to a teacher than know that your students, whatever they may be, have actually understood the training and have applied it and feel better about themselves. They feel more relevant, they feel empowered, they feel passionate, they feel connected. And that's what being creative is all about. So that's kind of really my jam, I have to say.
I don't know if we got to talk about this the first time that we met. My parents are both educators, and so I come from a long line of educators. And my dad used to say, like, the best way to show somebody that you love them is to teach them something. And so I love that sentiment of being on stage and just like getting to share your knowledge. And I think one of the things that like so impressed me about just the couple of videos that I've gotten to watch of you on stage is that it looks and feels so effortless, and you are just having a conversation with the audience. And I'm curious, like, not to get too much into like speaker stuff, but like, how do you do that? How do you make like everybody in the room feel like an individual instead of like a mass?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't answer that question. I'm just
natural. I'm naturally that incredible.
It's not natural. It's speaking's very unnatural. But when you find a space to like work on your voice and the way you express certain ideas, which I've had a lot of time experience to do, and be comfortable with it and realize I'm not a professional speaker. Do you know what I mean? Like I love what I do. I love my craft. I love my colleagues. I see them for their hard work. I want to have some fun with it and with them because it's fun for me. And if I'm having fun, they're having fun. So I try to bring these things into play. The world is a very serious place, and I'm trying to lighten that up a little bit, but I do have lots of serious points. Like this presentation I'll do, I'm going to go through a case study of a hospital foundation and talk about how we express ourselves creatively, alongside one of our clients who was a great cheerleader for our work and what we created out of that. And it's not a story I've been really able to tell that many times, so I'm kind of excited to share that. But this is a real example that almost everyone will be able to relate to in one way or another. They'll go, oh God, I've heard this very same thing, or oh my gosh, I've seen this very same thing happen, or you can feel the frustration. So I'm connecting myself with everyone. I see everyone as a nerd like I am, and I'm a nerd for the craft, and that means I just roll my sleeves and keep learning, keep trying, keep failing, and keep sharing, and we're going to get through it. We're in this together. We're going to get through it. I have confidence in that.
I love that. So John, for folks who are listening, they may not have signed up yet, and there might be a discount code coming. What? But for the people that are listening that haven't signed up yet, that are like, I just need that little bit to tell me that I need to go to WellTold, could you give us just like a little appetizer of what people can expect from John on stage?
Well, I do believe in giving people real information they can use right away. Like that's a big thing for me. I want inspiring people is great, and that's great if I inspire someone, but I want them to go, actually, you know what? I've learned something that I can go back to my office right now and utilize, and I know I can utilize it with power, and I feel confident in this, and I know why I'm doing it, and I can see what I can expect what's going to happen. So I want people feeling empowered, and I want them feeling moved to express themselves, like I said, creatively. That's such a big thing for me, because this whole world is making us lose touch with ourselves in some ways, and this work is very, very difficult. Telling the stories of the charities we work for is exhausting, especially for those of us who are extremely vulnerable or emotional or empathetic. It takes a lot from us, and so all I come back to is, how can I keep expressing myself? How can I stay connected to my colleagues, and my work that I'm doing, my business partner, and feel like I'm putting something that's important in this world that this world needs right now. And it's tough to do that. It's tough when you have bosses and people around you going, stop fucking crying, or stop doing that, or stop being so emotional, or stop asking questions. No, we need to do this work with that kind of intensity and that kind of passion. And if you don't, that's fine. There's other jobs out there you can get too, but I'm asking people to show up and be a certain way. That's my kind of call. And I know it's terrifying, and I know it's very difficult, but I hope that they'll walk out of that room going, not only do I feel like I enjoyed myself, but actually I learned a whole bunch of things that right now I know I can go back to my office and change and work on immediately, and can see better results in my fundraising.
I love everything that you just said, and I think that really does underscore the point that as we've been curating this conference, we've avoided speakers who we know are like what I'd call like inspiration porn, right? Like we are not looking for just like inspiration, because like how many times have you been to like, I'm going to say like a TEDx conference or something along those lines, where it's like 20-minute keynote after 20-minute keynote after 40-minute keynote after 20-minute keynote. And then you're like, I'm so inspired. I'm going to go change the world. I'm going to do this and this and this. And then you get back to your desk and you're like, but what? Like, where do I start? What do I do next? And so it's been really, really important. And we've worked with all of our speakers to say, what is like the inspiration? What is the case study? What is the takeaway that they can get? And what's really cool, and I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, John, but like we are actually, everybody is going to have a binder. Our executive producer, Annie Wood, really wants to get everybody a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper. Unfortunately, we have not been able to find that many Lisa Frank Trapper Keepers. You know what a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper is, right?
I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
John, okay, well then, just wait, do they have Trapper Keepers in Canada?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. What's a Trapper Keeper? I know what a trap is.
Okay, so a trapper, imagine a binder, just like a standard three-ring binder, right? But then add padding to it and like Velcro.
Okay.
It's a trapper keeper.
Okay.
Do you know who Lisa Frank is?
No.
Oh my God, John, this was my childhood. So you're going to have to, I can't describe Lisa Frank because she has like rainbow and glitter, every type of animal and everything you could imagine. Anyway, side note, the point is,
Yes. Go on.
The point is that we're going to have like an actual place for people to be keeping these ideas in real time. And so then by the end of it, they're going to have an entire roadmap, which we're calling their WellTold roadmap, which is going to have room for all of these different pieces in it. And so hopefully people will be jotting down some of those bits of inspiration and bits of goodness and be sharing them with their teams.
Fantastic. That sounds lovely.
Oh my gosh! Now we're gonna have to find John a Lisa Frank Trapper Keeper, and if nothing else, that'll be the speaker gift.
That will be it. Thank you. That's very kind, Max.
So, John, have you ever been to Fargo?
I've never been to Fargo. No.
Oh my gosh! What is one thing you're looking forward to or scared of?
The wood chipper.
The wood chipper. Okay, the wood chipper is so great. We're gonna put you in one of those with ear flaps, and we'll get your photo the day before. It'll be great. We'll put it live on the screen. It's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be so great.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
John, just like a quick rundown. If people want to engage with Agents of Good, how do they connect with you?
These days, I'm mostly on LinkedIn. I've kind of stepped away from some of the other social media channels. I do TikToks every so often because I find such an interesting space for getting ideas out there. But LinkedIn's probably the best place. I'm not that hard to find online. It's honestly, I'm a little too easy at times, but yeah.
Awesome. So John Lepp with Agents of Good is going to be live at WellTold, the nonprofit storytelling conference in Fargo on April 24th. John, here's a really exciting thing. We are well after the time of early bird pricing, but because you invested the 17 minutes so far listening to this episode, this very special episode with John Lepp, you can actually get in for the early bird pricing, which is like $170 off the virtual and $200 off the in-person, which is incredible. So that brings it down to $27 for the virtual or $97 for the in-person if you use the code PODCAST. PODCAST. John, thank you for coming to Fargo. We're so excited to have you and so excited to let you experience Fargo.
Can't wait.
And all of the weirdness that this community has to offer.
Fantastic, Max. I can't wait to meet everyone, and I'm very much looking forward to it. We'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, John.
All right, take care.
Thanks for tuning into this special WellTold edition of Tellwell the Podcast. If you're ready to transform how you share your mission, join us on April 24th in person in Fargo or virtually for WellTold, the nonprofit storytelling conference, where powerful missions meet masterful storytelling. If you're interested, make sure to use code PODCAST at welltoldconference.com to unlock early bird pricing. Whether you're a nonprofit leader, communicator, or mission-driven entrepreneur, this intimate hands-on experience will help your impact become impossible to ignore. Interested in sponsoring? Visit the website to see how you can support organizations working to grow and do the most good in our community. If you enjoy this podcast, you'll love the in-person experience and the rest of the episodes in this special series where we're talking to all of the speakers and sponsors making this incredible experience a reality. When good work is well told, change becomes unstoppable, and we invite you to join us at WellTold, the nonprofit storytelling conference in Fargo, April 24th.